Have you ever felt stuck in a growth decision, not sure if you're going to raise prices, change your message, or add a new feature? Imagine getting clear answers in days, not months, with tiny tests that cost very little and carry very little risk. Today, I will show you how micro experiments give you the fast learning, confident decisions, and real momentum without betting the farm. Welcome back to Business Growth Talks. I'm Mark Hayward. If you have been hesitating on a move or you have tried bigger changes that fell flat, micro experiments will be your new best friend. These are small deliberate tests across pricing, messaging, or product features. The goal is simple: gather clean evidence quickly so you can decide to double down, pivot, or drop the idea completely. This episode is inspired by my recent conversation with Robert Matzkin. So if you're holding one decision in your mind as you go, because at the end of this episode, you will know exactly how to test it. What is one decision you keep delaying because you're not sure if it's going to work? Is it to do with pricing, messaging, features, or an offer? Lock that in. We will be able to design a test together. If you've got any of those ideas, drop them in the comments below. I'd really like to hear what you're struggling with, and I will be able to explain to you today on how to do it with micro experiments. Here's the core promise. Micro experiments shorten the time between idea and learning. Instead of debating in meetings or guessing based on hunches, you design a small test, you run it with a small audience, and you get the results. Because the scope and spend are capped, failure is cheap and safe. That removes fear, which reduces the internal friction that usually slows down decisions. Every small win builds momentum, and every small conversation lifts compound over time. If your landing page conversion goes from 2% to 2.4%, that looks minor, but across the year of traffic onto your website, it can make a serious revenue lift. That is the compounding element of what we're talking about. Think of micro experiments as one variable in one channel for a short window, usually 3 to 14 days. Cost and setup should be minimal. The audience is a slice of your list or traffic, for example, 10 or 25%. So you protect the majority while you learn from the minority. You also define a single success metric and a simple success threshold. For example, an extra 15% click-through or a 10% lift in trial, it really can build really good evidence that you can then do on a larger scale. So examples are: swap the headline on your landing page for a week. Test it for a 7-day trial versus a 14-day trial for a segment. Offer bonus checklists to only your top 20% of email subscribers, or change the call to action in 2 emails that go out in a small cohort. There are going to be 3 golden rules to follow. Number 1 is keep it small. 1 variable at a time, 1 cohort, 1 time frame. When you change 5 things, you cannot tell what is the change that drove the result. Rule 2, make the hypothesis explicit. For example, if you increase the starter package from $299 to $329, conversions will not drop by more than 5%, and revenue per visitor will rise. That's a clear hypothesis, the clearer the decision. Rule 3, measure 1 primary outcome. Secondary metrics can be interesting, but your decision should be tied to the growth metrics such as conversion rate, trial start date, cost per lead, overall order value, or show up rate for booking calls. This episode is sponsored by Zach Southall PT. Quick story: I wanted to lose weight and add muscle. Working with my personal trainer Rob at Zach Southall PT with guidance from Zach too has been a game changer for me. They are incredibly supportive and seriously knowledgeable about fitness and nutrition. The first week I recorded and photographed all my food, which Rob was looking at to assess the nutrition but also the amount of food I was eating. Then we added gym and cardio sessions, which has made me feel healthier and more confident, because when you feel better, you perform better in life and business. The plan that they've created fits my life, training, food, and accountability. The results have been great. I feel I'm only partway through this journey, and I'm staying with Rob and Zach to hit my target weight and muscle goals. If you want the same momentum, go to the link below to complete the form, and Zach will be in contact. If you're a busy business owner not prioritizing your health, this is going to be a game changer. So for these examples in practice, pricing, you can run limited offers at a slightly higher price for a small segment that watch conversions and revenue per visitor. Messaging, you can split 2 tests, 2 headlines, and 2 hooks on your landing page, your YouTube title or your LinkedIn post, and track the click-throughs and don't dwell on time. Features and packaging, you can soft launch a new add-on service to your best 3 clients, gather feedback in real conversations and decide whether it's something you want to standardize. Offers, you can test a bonus, for example a checklist or a private queue, and track whether it moves the needle on purchases or booking calls. You do not need fancy tech to run micro experiments. Your email platform can split test subject lines and calls to action. Your website builder can duplicate a page and a route and a small percentage of the traffic to the variant. Social posts and polls can give fast directional feedback. Simple survey tools can collect willingness to pay. Even 5 constructed customer calls count as an experiment if you ask the same questions and score the same answers in the same way. Keep setup light, keep the test window short, and keep the readout simple. There are 3 ways to avoid traps. First, testing too many variables at once. It feels efficient, but it destroys clarity. Second, chasing vanity metrics. Likes and impressions are not the same as leads and sales. Tie your success to a growth outcome. Third, ignore sample size. If 3 people buy, that is not a signal. You do not need a giant sample, but you need enough data to give it a clear direction. If in doubt, extend the test window or increase the slice of traffic slightly. Then stop once the results stabilize. Here is the decision logic. If the metric moves in the right direction and it meets your threshold, double down and roll it out to a wider audience. If it is clearly losing, drop it without drama and capture the learning. If it is close or inconclusive, refine the hypothesis and rerun a cleaner version. The discipline here is to decide within 24 hours of the test ending. No long debates and just move. I tested a language change in my call to action from a booker call to a discovery on how podcast guesting could work for you. Same placement, same traffic slice, same time frame. The new language felt lower friction and more curious, and it increased conversions by 23% in that cohort. That one tiny change rolled out across pages and emails, compounding into more qualified conversations across the quarter. This is the power of micro experiments, tiny input, but meaningful output. Let me ask you, what is a micro experiment you will run this week? A headline swap, a small price test, a pilot of a new bonus, or a feature soft launch to a handful of clients? Write it down and schedule the test straight away. Micro experiments are more than just tactics. They are a culture. When your team gets used to small tests, fast reads, and quick decisions, you trade opinions for evidence and you pick up speed. That speed becomes confidence, and that confidence becomes growth. Here's my challenge to you. Choose one area, pricing, messaging, or product or offer. Write a sentence for a hypothesis. Choose one primary metric. Set a 7-day window. Limit the audience to a small slice. Run the test. Read the results and decide in 24 hours. Then repeat next week. If you want a proven growth channel, To test and scale, consider podcast guesting with Podcast Introduction, my business. We help entrepreneurs, business owners, and authors get booked on the right shows, craft a message that converts, and turn interviews into leads and sales. Head over to podcastintroduction.com to see how it can work for you, and treat that experiment like a micro experiment, and then we can then build it and scale up. If you have found this useful, subscribe to the YouTube channel, drop a comment with a test you will run this week, and share this with a friend who keeps delaying a decision. I'm Mark Hayward, and this is Business Growth Talks, and I'll see you in the next episode.